Alrighty, so in general, we got some pretty good shape overall. So we have it's a 2-speed pump, a little bit older, but it's in good shape. No leaks, no issues, no anything discernible that would cause it to give up any time soon, a year or two. So it should last a decent amount of time. The heater is pretty new. You can tell it's been recently replaced. It's a 400 BTU unit, and you have a good enough gas line. It's a short run, so it's nothing too bad. The only thing here is there's missing a sediment trap on the gas line right at the entrance over here. It's required by gas code, so that's the only small thing there that just needs to be addressed.
So with that one, like in the water heater, Dean says to usually not change it until you get a new equipment. Is that the same for pool stuff? Or?
Typically no. I mean, it's nothing. It's not a major repair. It's just literally adding the sediment trap over here. Just kind of
filter, right?
Yeah, just a little small thing that has to change direction, so gravity does its job of pulling out the sediment and the humidity out of the line.
Would you do it at your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's required by gas code, and it does help prevent any issues with the gas valve. So I've had a lot of heaters that the gas valve fails prematurely, and 95% of the time it's because I didn't have a sediment trap.
Okay.
So it helps a lot.
Cool.
Over here with the panel, electric wise. So this is the breaker for the filter pump. It's a 40 amp, so it needs to be a max 20 amps, because if it ever draws over 20 amps with the 12 gauge wire, it's a fire hazard. So this thing needs to be swapped out, and it needs to be a GFCI breaker as well. So luckily, like on this circuit right here, this 30 amp double pole right here, it's empty, so that can get replaced. This can get replaced with a GFCI breaker as required by current electrical code, but definitely that's way too high of a breaker.
Okay.
That needs to be addressed. And then on the bottom of the panel, which I took pictures of and I'll put in the report, it's a bunch of knockouts here that they knocked out, but they never plugged them, so they're wide open, so the elements can get to them, little critters and all that stuff. So just plug that up.
Yeah.
I opened up the salt cell right here, so that right there is really calcified. I took some pictures. There's a salt cell right here. So it looks like a newer unit, but it hasn't really been maintained properly, so it needs to be cleaned out more, periodically, at least once a month and not 2 months.
Yeah.
It tends to indicate that the hardness in the water is a little bit too high, but that just needs to be maintained more, because once it calcifies, it starts working at higher voltages, and it burns out, and then you got to replace it, and they're not exactly the cheapest items. And then it was power center for the salt cell. Everything's good there. The filter right here is actually a newer unit. So it's only a couple years old, so it's a good one. It's a big one too, so it provides plenty of filtration for the pool. So, in essence, that's kind of the main things over here with the equipment. GFCI outlet for the lights works fine. A little bit older, but still works. And then, like I said, no leakages or anything like that, any concerning thing over here. So overall, pretty good shape when it comes to the equipment. So, and
Yeah, I don't see anything like leaking.
No leaking, no funky noises, nothing too drastic that I would say needs to be addressed right now, or anything that's going to cause a major issue. So everything's good there. We have structurally it's in great shape. There's no any lifts or any damage, cracks. Tiles all in place. Everything looks good. The surface looks good. There's no major cracks or any breaks in it or anything like that. So overall, looks really good. Skimmer, autofill, everything's there. We have 3 lights, 2 in the pool, 1 in the spa, and they're all working. They all respond to the GFCI, so they're in good shape as well. Check the spillway for the tile. Everything's in place. Nothing's loose, so everything's looking good there on the.
Yeah, there's none of that calcium stuff. Right?
Yeah,
it looks really clean.
It looks good overall. So that's the good thing, that everything's fine there. Drain covers are in place, prevent any entrapment hazards. So you got 2 here, 2 in the spa. They're all there. The only thing I did notice over here, we do have these older systems. We used to have these in the wall right there. We have the spa side remote, but that's not functioning anymore. So the only real thing there is to remove it. If they still want one, they can place one. The only thing is they're water resistant. They're not necessarily waterproof. So right there, when it's right at the water line, even if you put a new one, they tend to give out sometimes, because when they're right at the water line, the water gets in there and just damages them.
It's pretty ironic it's not waterproof.
Yeah, they make them kind of like water resistant for the most part, but when they're that low, it kind of can be problematic. So, you can just leave it there or remove it. I would recommend probably just putting a piece of tile over it, as opposed to putting a new one.
The remote?
The remote on the wall. So there's a remote on the wall. One? Yeah, and everything responds to it, so we can look at it if you want. maintenance.
How'd the pool go?
Looking good.
Good.
Overall, in good shape. Few things, but overall in good shape. So, you know, got this right here, got everything. So everything looks good shape. Everything responds. We can go to this. We can turn the pump on. And we'll see right now that it turns on pretty quickly. You'll start seeing the spillover. So there you go. Pretty. We can set all the schedules, turn the lights on and everything from here. So it's
Cool.
good working order.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing is, you know, it's indoors. Elements don't tend to get to it. So
Yeah, that's not a smart plan in the spa, right?
what's that?
In the spa, having the remote in the spa in the water.
You know, it's always recommended to keep it at least a little bit above the water level, just because, you know, water gets into it or eventually gets into it because it corrodes things.
You just patch it up, so?
I would recommend that because you can put one there, but it's a different shape. So no matter what, you just still have to put new tile around it because the new ones are round and these are a lot longer and rectangular. So it's a completely different shape. So it'd be, you know, you'd have to patch it up no matter what.
Okay. Or you could just leave it there and
leave it there and just say,
Okay.
yeah, and you know, so that's on the options there. You can obviously this system allows you to upgrade the panel, just the motherboard, and you can control everything through the phone and still be able to use this as well. So there's options there.
Great.
That's the good thing about it.
Okay, Rudy.
And yeah, overall, like I said, it's just a few things there, but I'll be on the report
Yeah.
and be good to go there. So
Great. I appreciate it.